Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We got AJ, we got Eric, we got Rudo as the Avs defeat the Calgary Flames 3-1 in an absolute segababa. That was the hockey game happened.
If 3 weeks from now I ask you guys details about this game, and either one of you remember anything about it, will you be shocked?
No.
No?
I would not be shocked if we can't. Well, no, that's not. I think I'll probably remember the wraparound goal just because it's a wraparound goal.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't think I'm going to remember much from this game in a couple weeks.
It was a 5-on-5.2.
It was a 5-on-5. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it just was not.
I'm going to start doing that Pentecostal church. The
start talking in tongues and stuff.
Ryan Johansen had a 5v5 point.
Sure.
We go jump in the tub. The cleansing tub. We need a cleansing tub.
Let's do our 60-second rundown here first.
Challenge is to use 60 seconds.
It was a slow game, no doubt about it. Not a ton going on in this game. Avs crucially capitalize on their special teams in the first period, though. Jonathan Drouin gets the Avs on the board up 1-0. Second period was interesting, at least. It was a thing where hockey things went on. Avs were able to get a 2-goal lead. You're good in this hockey game. So, good stuff. That's 2 games in a row that they led by 2 with the aforementioned Ryjo wraparound goal. But they do give one back fairly quickly as Calgary does get on the board to make it 2-1. And then, you finally get Nathan MacKinnon showing up, even if it is a fluky goal. He puts one in the back of the net for it to be 3-1. And that was it. You were halfway through this game, and there wasn't a single other goal scored. And the Avs kind of just took this one home. Calgary pushed a little in the third.
A little bit.
But it never got close, so GG. Wind it all the way back. Let's go to the first period of this game. Let me ask you two, because at one point shots were 10-3 in the Avs' favor. Is that the ideal for a back-to-back game, 4-1, where you know that you're not going to have great legs? Is it more important to get that going on your own side, or is it more important to limit the other team?
Just get the win, I guess.
However possible.
Yeah, I think in a segababa, you're not too concerned.
All right.
Just whatever it looks like, whatever it takes, That's you're just trying to get 2 points. You're in a position to get 2 points. Don't worry about it.
Sure.
It's just however it looks, however it feels, you don't really care at that point. You're just trying to get out of there.
Tonight it's scoreboard only.
Yeah, I think so. On segababas, yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
And it's the worst. I mean, I know we keep saying segababa and everything, but for me, the worst part is 3 and 4. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's tough. And they're doing 3 and 4, then they're doing 3 and 4 again Monday, right? So it's, that's the smart thing not to practice tomorrow. That's where coaches have gotten so much better over the years. Back then would have been practice tomorrow, 10 a.m. You know what I mean? It's like, it's useless. So, yeah, I think it was well played. There wasn't no messing around. There wasn't too many. We talked about it pregame, right?
Yep.
No freebies, no silver platters.
Yep.
Make them work for it. And the Avs are smart that way. Makes it for a boring kind of game at times, but it's effective. And those 2 points at the end of the year are huge. And, people still had a good time at Ball Arena. They had their hot dogs, their food. It's all
Yes,
good.
sir.
You know what I mean? So it worked out good.
Take it down if you're Colorado. Don't ask too many questions about it.
Look, you played 3 and 4.
And you won them all?
You walked out with 6 points.
Boom,
Pretty
boom.
good. Pretty good hockey right there.
Awesome.
I asked you guys a week ago after the Avs won in Dallas. I said, are the Avalanche leading the division 1 week from today? We said yes.
And they are.
And they are. So even with the 37-second meltdown in Nashville,
Still all good.
if they had those points, they'd be tied for the conference lead right now. And we'd be falling about ourselves because they'd be on, what, a 7-8 game win streak?
Yeah,
something like
7
that.
straight, I
7.
think. Yeah.
So, and I think what you can look at in this stretch of games where they've been winning a lot that makes you feel good about it is that not every game has looked the same.
Yep.
There haven't really been very many repeats, and we haven't really seen the Avs win very many of these this year where it's lower scoring. They only get 3, but they only need 2.
Yep.
Your goaltender does a good enough job here. I'm not going to take anything away from Ivan Prosvetov. No. It's a good job.
He made, 30-some saves tonight?
Yeah, it's good, solid work by him.
Yep.
You were frustrated his last start. He gave some goals away, and you lost a game that you should have won. That didn't happen tonight. You win a game that you should have won, and here you are.
Life's easy and good. When things go your way.
It's almost kind of boring when it's like you're the better team.
Yeah,
you score first, you build a lead, you keep the lead.
Lead the whole way. Yeah.
You win the game. Your goalie plays well, your team plays well. Okay.
On to the next one.
Yeah. All right.
I want to start with Jonathan Drouin, though. He gets the power play goal tonight on a nice little play from him. Good work by Mac and Mikko, too, there. Don't want to take any credit away from the top guys, but it's Drouin who's able to walk in and finish.
Great play.
I think it was Evan that tweeted it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now more goals this year than he had in Montreal last year.
Yep.
So maybe over that hump gives him a little bit of breathing room, as it is now 6 points on the season for Drouin. Is this where they need him to be? Is he producing at enough of a rate over the last couple to keep him in the lineup on a nightly basis?
I don't know how many games it is, but I think it's 5 of those points since that, starting with that Blues fiasco.
Yep. He's been picking it up.
So you're talking 5 of those points have come over the last 2 weeks.
8 games or something, I think. Yeah.
That's a solid pace.
Yep.
He keeps that up, you're going to feel pretty good about it.
And you got to remember that day was when Bednar that morning at the presser was, what do you want more from him? He's been playing good. What, points. Yep. You got to produce.
Yep.
And he has been. So, and he attacks the seam on that goal. I like
he does,
that. That means it's confidence. It's not a fluke. He knew what he was doing. He knew that if he attacked it, he could have gone for low blocker, and that's what he did. And he threads the needle right there in the right spot.
On a team where at times we feel like they might look for the perfect play a little bit too often.
Yeah.
A player who
saw it tonight
no kidding. A player who very often is known as a pass first guy. He walks in and shoots it. That's how you score goals, baby. It's not that complicated on that front. The other side of this, and there's a positive here and a negative here. Avs penalty kill, great tonight. Did everything it needed to do. Avs penalty taking, not so great tonight. You take one very early in the game. Bowen Byram has another puck go over the glass. You get into whatever that was with Ross Colton at the end of the second period there. Is this fixable? Let me ask you this on the penalty taking side. At what point do the Avs just take a lot of penalties and that's just their life?
You're 20 games into the season, man.
And it's still happening. That's what I'm saying.
You're a fourth of the way done with your season, so right now you're not saying, "Oh man, it's just been a bad week. It's been bad 6 games." You're
a month and a half.
Yeah, you're a quarter of the way through with your regular season, and I was checking it today. They're 7th in the NHL, so they could be worse
for sure.
That's not the attitude you want to approach things, though.
7th in what, most penalties taken?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much in minors and in average time shorthanded in a game.
Which there has been a lot of weirdness with that.
It's pretty funny. I don't know what Anaheim and Montreal are doing, but they are miles ahead of everybody else. The Avs are like, at the start of the day, they were like 5 penalties behind the third place team.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like 12 behind those 2 teams. So those 2 teams are just taking a ton of penalties. So they're kind of outlier-y right now, where they're just in a different land.
Sure.
The point being, the Avs take too many penalties. They're at near the top of the league in doing so. That's bad. You really don't want to see that continue. That is, you talk about an area of improvement going into this next 10-game stretch, because your second 10-game stretch just ended. Biggest area of improvement, that. Don't take as many penalties.
As much as it is the number of penalties, it's the type of penalties, right? The Ryjo penalty on the breakaway tonight, whatever. You don't really have a problem with that one. But the ones in the offensive zone, the delay of games, the too many men's,
Those
you
kill
look
me.
at those and you go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why?
And the too many men's, I think, are these things happen.
Sure.
I'm even willing to just go, these things happen.
If it's not a consistent one,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And the Avs have been, like, their reputation for taking them is more than the reality
Than what they actually do,
of them
yeah.
taking them. Because I looked this up last year, and they weren't anywhere close to the top of the league. Like, not anywhere
Feels
close.
like that comes mostly because of the Nashville one that wasn't real and the one that they got away with in the playoffs.
They didn't get away with one in the playoffs. Uh-huh. Which one are you talking about?
The one that Kadri had a shirt made out of?
Okay, but he didn't get away with one.
Okay. Whatever.
That's a line change. Give me a fucking break, man.
My point
You
is,
sound like Bolts Jolts.
those types of things have, I think, thrown it into the general consciousness a lot more than
Okay.
the actual penalties.
Yeah. And I think it's like when fans decide something, like,
Yeah.
it sure feels like this happens a lot. Then every single time that it happens, you go,
Confirm that
it sure
bias.
feels
Yeah.
like this happens a lot. And in reality, it doesn't happen as often as you think, but still too frequently.
Nonetheless, Byram throwing the puck out of the rink has happened too often as
That-
of late.
Has happened 3 games in a row, and it's not hard to see that should not be happening as often as it is. Especially to the same guy.
Yeah.
Sir, stop.
Is that, do you think, like, this is a complete conspiracy theory? Don't take this seriously.
Oh boy.
But I wonder if, like, the Vancouver Giants rink has, like, super high glass or something like that, where he spent a lot of his junior career throwing it where you could throw it super high off the boards.
I like this conspiracy theory, but don't you think it would have manifested far earlier
Yes,
than this?
I know it's not reality, but I'm just, I kind of wonder about things like that because there is no set height for the glass, at least in
Man.
the neutral zone.
This is how QAnon started.
Well,
Some
That's a
dude
great
got
ring, by the
stoned
way.
and said, "What, if?" And now people believe it.
Well,
That's a great rink, by the way.
is it? I've never been.
It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
I'm old. I
The
played in
Suits
that
playing on
one.
behind us. Oh man, I love that show.
Suits?
Yeah,
Meghan Markle,
yeah.
Canucks fan.
Is she really?
Gross.
She was at the game last week. Canucks.
That
with
doesn't
Prince
make her a
Harry.
Canucks fan.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
this-
just saying.
I remember when David Boreanaz was at an Avalanche game one time.
He loves hockey, that guy, though.
Yeah, he's a big Flyers fan.
Yeah.
It might have been a Flyers game actually. That would have
Yeah,
made sense.
it was.
Would make sense. Anyway, Avs, I don't think really did anything special today. That is, I don't think they made any particularly special plays like we've come to see from their stars. Not that their stars didn't play well. I don't think they did anything spectacular defensively. They just went in there and were a bit better than Calgary in every facet of the game.
Yeah,
That's it. Well said. I mean, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they scored timely. I mean, every goal is timely. We say that every save is timely, but those were timely goals. Like, it was just at the right time.
Yep.
They never looked back. So it was. They're gonna sleep well tonight. They're gonna be tired. They're gonna sleep well. And a day off tomorrow, and then get back at it Monday.
Yeah, I don't know if timely is the right word, but I think we all kind of felt like
You know what
you
I
get
mean.
into that second period, it's 1-0. You feel like the Avs have played pretty well in this game, and they only have one goal to show for it.
Yeah.
They were fine.
And then, how many wraparound goals actually get scored every year?
Maybe 10.
It's not a lot, right? Not anymore.
How many in the season?
Yeah. In modern, not in your days.
Oh, thank you. 'Cause I loved it. That was a go-to for me. Yeah, not a lot. Goalies play it so much different now, right? So
Yeah, it feels like most NHL goalies don't have that much problem getting across their post to post.
this
there.
one he overcommits there, and he's
Yeah, he's
way too
well past his
yeah.
post, right? Ryjo just skates around and really has a surprising amount of room to tuck
And he has
that
a
puck
reach.
into the net.
And he has
it's
a
a-
he,
big
he is a
reach.
big guy, yeah.
It was a great tuck too, because how many times do you see
Throw it into
a
the
guy
pad,
try and
yeah.
exactly
It goes the
throws
other
it
way.
into the pad or the goalie skate or whatever, and instead he gets all the way around. That reach obviously helps quite a bit.
Yep.
Made his mind
good
right
read by
there.
him.
He had made up his mind. No matter what, he was doing that.
Conspiracy theory number 2.
What
Oh,
if?
Lord, man.
Zadorov, Avalanche sleeper agent.
No, I think the batteries were just dead in his controller up here.
Yeah.
And he didn't change them out yet. And that's why he stopped right in front of the crease and didn't move.
It was bad. From that overhead view, it was
Yeah.
like, oh, buddy. He just watches Ryjo put this puck
There was
into the net.
no better view in the entire arena than that dude.
Tough.
It
Tough
was
look.
Yeah, it was bad defense, man.
Is he
And
still
when you
better?
talk when you talk about Nikita Zadorov, like that's the downside.
Absolutely.
You get controller disconnect moments like that where you're just like, oh, okay,
Maybe you should have made a play, huh, bud?
yeah.
Done anything at all. Is what it is with Z. Would you still take him over Josh Manson?
Over the life of the contract
Yeah.
for Josh Manson? Yes.
Okay. I thought so. I just
Tough night though because Z wasn't very good and Josh Manson was great
kind of
tonight.
awesome.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was great tonight.
couldn't quite make it work on the offensive end. Made a couple of dope plays that didn't result in anything, but I do think you're seeing an interesting dichotomy kind of developing there on the defensive side, right? We've talked about Byram's struggles, especially with the absence of Sam Girard in these last few games.
Yeah.
And you've seen Josh Manson rise to the occasion in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I know he didn't have a great play on the second goal the other night, but on the whole, over
That's
this
okay.
last stretch, I think he's really stepped up quite a bit for that defense.
Did people hate on that where he was in front of the net and Eriksson Ek got it in?
We did.
Yeah.
There was
Well, I did. Like,
more his positioning being on the wrong side of the guy.
Oh,
than-
okay.
No,
I'm
no,
down
no.
with
We
that.
liked this game. We
Yeah,
thought
same.
it was getting. No, we liked this game. It just this one he loses body position on that play, and then he's on
Okay.
the wrong side of it. And then hey, again, Eriksson is 225 pounds, and he goes to the front of the net. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying
It's
it's,
on his
easy.
forehand.
Yeah, he's on his forehand.
We don't need
It's
to
hard.
rehash. I was just curious.
No, yeah, we know, but you weren't there. That's right. I forgot you weren't there. No, we
Yeah.
were saying he played great. This one just didn't. I didn't like that. Like 3 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, if you take his last 4 games, I think he's been
Oh, he's starting to be mean
the
again.
Avs' third
I
best
love it.
defenseman,
The
probably.
physicality.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a guy whose physicality feeds the rest of his game. It feeds his
it.
confidence.
Yep.
So when he starts dropping guys, you know that
Yep.
good Josh Manson is on his way. And we saw pretty close to best Josh Manson tonight.
Yep.
You have to
Everything
play
but
the
a point.
identity, right?
Yeah,
and that's his
exactly.
Yeah.
identity. If he tries to play like Cale, then we're all in trouble.
Yeah,
Like,
and if he
right?
tries
No.
to play just like sound positional defense,
Can't.
whatever. No,
That's
dude.
not his game. Yeah.
we always
Let
say,
that guy take the wall and then put him through it
Where's
and
the-
then take the puck and,
where's the whiskey bottle? That's what he is. He's the whiskey guy on the back
Yeah,
end. That's
there you
right.
go.
He's different. Cale and Taser wine drinkers, and right? I mean, he's just the one that's different.
Bo was a natty light guy.
Oh, God.
Bo's the what?
A natty light guy.
How about this? All right, we just got 100 likes, so we can do our whiskey shots for Josh
here's the
Manson. And the vitamin W. Dr. Dubs approved.
Dr. D.
Get your prescription today over at BreckenridgeDistillery.com. Thank you for the 100 likes, chat.
Okay.
Go over to BreckenridgeDistillery.com. Try their award-winning whiskey today. They also have other alcohols as well to check out. You can order them online, again, at BreckenridgeDistillery.com. And since we're here, we're also brought to you by Bacchus and Schenker. If you've been hit heavily, like by a Josh Manson, or whatever the hell happened with Miles Wood, which we'll talk about in a little bit, call 222-2222 today. If you've been injured in any situation like a car accident where you're not at fault, or you were injured at work, or someone didn't shovel their sidewalks, Bacchus and Schenker has your back. Again, call that 2 number, go to coloradolaw.net today. They'll give you a free consultation, and if they take on your case, you pay them nothing up front. They don't get paid until you get paid. So go check them out. Go get with Bacchus and Schenker today. Bacchus and Schenker wins.
There it is. There's Josh.
Yeah, pulled out the bottle of whiskey for us. After
A milk drinker.
you get your big... that was one of the weirdest chirps I've ever heard. Good one, though. I'm here for it. After Bacchus and Schenker, make sure you go check out Circa Sports. and their sports book too. Obviously, they have all of the amazing stuff going on with the Broncos. We gave away a ton of trips to Vegas. You can go enjoy yourself. Circa, an awesome place to stay. We were out there for the Avs rookie tournament. It's just dope out there.
The Avs sweeping the rookie tournament.
That's true. They did sweep the rookie tournament. Thanks to Circa, confirmed.
And
So-
Ivan.
And Ivan.
Our guy. Ivan Square.
Good vibes out there at Circa, all right? It's all coming together. You can book your stay with Circa today and get yourself a fantastic deal of saving 20% off with the DNVR code. Make sure you get in on it. Of course, you can download the Circa Sportsbook app today at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. You must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Wanted to talk about this because it's been a couple games in a row here. Fourth line, Freddie Olofsson, been a little bit fast and loose defensively. You guys have said it after both games, I think. You just want your fourth line not to get scored on, right?
Yeah, the biggest thing with Ben Myers last year when he was playing on that line, and everybody was talking about he can't score. There's no offense. Guy was never on the ice for a goal against.
Yep.
I say never, but it was like very, very, very rare last year. He was wonderful defensively. Took care of that end wonderfully. Fredrik Olofsson had such an awesome start to the season. He's going to get time to work this out. But if this combination with Cogliano, Olofsson, and Kiviranta can't figure it out and is going to get scored on
Regularly.
even semi-regularly, it's a problem. That line is never going to generate enough offense to even it out. Your fourth line cannot be bleeding goals because that's more heavy lifting that your first line has to do. Your second line has to do. Your third line has to do. Your defense has to do. So that line can't go out there and make poor reads like that. And it's not just the fourth line. Caleb Jones has a bad night tonight. This is a bad Caleb Jones
For
night.
sure.
And Caleb Jones loses his man out of the corner. It's the same... If you watch it, it's the same losing the man out of the corner that Duncan Keith did to Arturi Lehkonen on the Avs game-winning goal in Edmonton in Game 4.
Yep.
You can't lose your guy out of the corner that badly. He loses that guy.
That's it.
And that's where it starts. Fredrik Olofsson is actually your safety valve there. He's your guy. That pass means the pass that gets made is another opportunity for an Avalanche player to make a play and do something.
Yep.
And Fredrik Olofsson also doesn't get it done.
Yep.
So it's Caleb Jones, it's Fredrik Olofsson. You got two failures there by a third pairing defenseman and a fourth line center.
Yep.
That's not, those are guys that can't give up those kinds of plays if they want to see continued ice time.
And as a coach, Bednar and company, no different than any other coach in the National Hockey League, you want consistency.
Yep.
And the difference with those guys, if you go like Cogs, Kiviranta, even to a certain extent, Olofsson, they're not call-ups, right? You know what I mean? So
Sure.
Guys, when they're call-ups, as a coach, what they want to see and what they're trying to show them the next morning and with video and everything is consistency during a game, which will make them stay at the National Hockey League, right? Not just be a call-up, but to be there. Now, those guys are all national. I mean, let's consider. I mean, even Olofsson's a National Hockey Leaguer, right? He's not a call-up. I mean, he's
Well,
You're kind of splitting hairs here
I was
going to
say
just because
let's put him in that basket.
Olofsson and Kiviranta struggled badly to carve out consistent jobs in Dallas, and I think we're seeing why.
Yep.
But that's my point. So what I'm trying to say is, they're not call-ups like Tufte. They're guys that have been there, but to stay there and to make it a career. And that's where it's been a little bit of an issue.
That's the conversation I
Right.
want to have. What does it take to make that seat warm? You have a Ben Myers down in the minors. You have Curtis McDermott in the press box.
Yeah.
Is it already warm? Is the leash that short, or do they have a handful more games before you start seriously talking about putting them as a scratch for a night?
Just for me, Freddie Olofsson was so solid to start the season.
Built up some trust.
I'm not in a rush to do it, but let's say 5 more games where they're not very good and they don't have a good night.
Then you're talking
And Ben Meyer stays healthy in Loveland and continues
a lot of
to
other
play,
factors for sure.
continues
yeah.
to play well. Then I'm having the conversation. I'm starting to have it. I mean, there's just no given here. There's just not. That is an area that really, really hurt this team last year. And it's an area that when they were successful early in the season, that fourth line was strong. Since Logan O'Connor got moved up,
It's been not as strong.
that fourth line has shown a lot of holes. And you're saying, okay, the third line got better when Logan O'Connor got on it. The fourth line was better with Logan O'Connor on it. Your constant there is Logan O'Connor's
That's right.
presence.
Yep.
And so you need to figure out how to make those other variables work. You need to figure out, okay, Nikolai Kovalenko is coming at the end of the year.
That's the other
Is he a
variable.
variable at the end of this season? Are you really counting? Are you having a conversation about this for a guy that's coming in March? Not yet, but you know what's happening.
For sure.
You have to keep it in the back of your mind at least.
Yep.
But Logan O'Connor can't play both lines. So what do you do?
Maybe he can. Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
What if?
If Logan O'Connor
What
had a
if?
twin brother,
Could he play on both sides, on both wings, both lines?
Named Rogan Bro Connor.
Yeah. But you know what's awesome? You know what's awesome? Is that we're talking about that. That's all valuable he's become now to,
Oh,
the,
absolutely.
to the roster. And that's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
he's done
Love
more
it.
than just carve out a role at this point.
Absolutely. And again, the big word is consistency, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's, and that's how you do it.
I bring this up because Jared Bednar has shown he's willing to pretty aggressively scratch a Tomas Tatar, scratch a Jonathan Drouin if they've had a bad stretch of games. Mm-hmm. Obviously, those guys' roles is a little bit different than a fourth line grinders, but just curious to see how that would apply.
Yeah, Andrew Cogliano's not getting scratched.
Of course, they
Frederick Olofsson,
maybe.
Kiviranta, those are two guys that they have a
Maybe.
standard to live up to.
Yep.
And if they continue to get scored on, they need their goal should be next 3 games.
Nothing.
Don't get scored on. Doesn't matter what they do offensively, just don't get scored on. Now, it'd be great if they played a physical brand of hockey and they spent a lot of time in the offensive zone and they cycled hard and they brought energy and did all that fourth line stuff.
Yep.
But really, don't get scored on. Needs to be number 1 goal for that fourth line. You can't play 3 games in one night, so we'll start with Tampa Bay. Have a good game against Tampa Bay on Monday.
Yep.
Love
You give
it.
your team a
Go
chance
from
to
there.
win by not getting scored on when you're a
Yep,
fourth line.
you're
right?
doing your part.
I did my part.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if you score 3 like they did 10 days ago, then awesome. It's a bonus, right?
Yeah, you probably put 8 on a team as they did in that game.
There you go.
Would be fun. Going beyond that, Nathan MacKinnon is the guy that ultimately gets the Avs their goal back in the second period. Better to be lucky than good scenario there a little bit, but
Yeah.
he's still Nathan MacKinnon.
When you throw 1,000 pucks at the net, you're bound to get one that takes a bounce like that and goes in, and it's just like, all
Law of
right,
averages.
Yep.
cool, man.
When they come, don't look a gift horse in the mouth and take it. That's all. And to be clear, I actually thought Nathan MacKinnon did play pretty well tonight. He
was
generated a couple of good chances. Didn't finish them other than the fluky one, obviously, but
He was fine.
sure. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Nathan
fine? All right.
MacKinnon was fine. I don't think he was great. I don't think that he was bad. I think that the frustration continues. I
think that's fair.
We haven't seen him dominate a game, but also you won a 3-1 game in which he scored a goal and had an assist. You really can't mark
Ask for
him.
much more than that. Yeah.
You really can't put him center stage and say, I need more from that guy.
Yep.
The guys that are the usual suspects of consternation, Jonathan Drouin scores a goal.
Yep.
Ryan Johansen scores a
goal.
goal. Nathan MacKinnon scores a goal.
Hard to be upset with those guys
It's like-
tonight. Yep.
Tomas Tatar is looking around going, God, it must be nice to score goals.
A little bit of a scare at the end of the first period. Cale
Yeah.
McCarr blocks a shot with his wrist area.
Wrist-ish.
Yeah, wrist-ish. He reportedly went to the X-ray room, came back out for the second, seems totally fine. How important is it for the Avs to start managing this a little bit as we enter the point of the season? Eric, you mentioned the 3 and 4 they're going through right now, but
4 and 6 on Monday.
yeah, exactly. And you're playing more or less every other night now for the foreseeable future with a handful of breaks in there. Are we going to start to see more of that managing things a little bit when it comes to lesser player injuries?
No.
You think you just got to march through it?
I think that's just how they operate.
Okay.
I mean, they've already started. Normally, the practice banhammer starts in like January.
It's starting tomorrow.
It's already begun this year where they're like, practice. No, thank you. I think that's just a sign of a veteran team that knows it wants to be fresh in the postseason.
Rather be
and
fresh.
is not wasting time. They're like, you know what our systems are. You know what our expectations are. We're 20 games into the season. All the new guys know what their jobs are, except Tomas Tatar. You know where to be. You know what's happening. You understand what we want from you. What is practice going to do? And it's not that practice doesn't have its place. It's that when you're more worried about managing the long haul of a long season and a long postseason, you're giving yourself extra leeway here. There are going to be some teams that tire themselves out because of inexperience.
Yep.
Right
Go
now,
too
because
hard.
They are. They're going to, Vegas is going to go in. I don't know if Vegas will. I'm just using them as an example. Maybe a team like Vancouver.
Yeah.
Very excited, but they're 2 and 4 in their last 6. They might panic a little bit and say,
We got to work out all the problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going into practice. We're going to workshop our problems. We're going to try and sort through them. The Avalanche didn't do much of that when they were in the losing game stretch of their season.
Yep. They just worked through it.
Exactly. They were like, we still understand what's going on here. And just for my money, I think it has helped the roster enormously. Consistent roles. Tatar, Drouin, those guys.
Yep.
A person next to Wood and Colton
That are still getting a feel for it.
Exactly. And they continue to look good and getting better once they're especially Wood and Colton, those two guys, their comfort level has gone way, way, way up.
Yep.
And I think that is just them settling in and getting, okay, hey, this is our home now. This is going to be our home for a while. We're going to play together. We're going to find our chemistry together. And the third guy's been LOC. It's been a little bit of LOC and a little bit of Kiviranta. Fine.
But, I mean, I think another
knowing
valuable
the
point,
jobs.
For sure. And another valuable point for LOC where Bednar can say, I'm dropping you on this line. I know you're going to play my systems to a T because that's who you are.
Yeah.
And those guys can play around you doing what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Very, very valuable thing that certainly for a head coach, I'll put it that way. E, how do you feel about the lack of practice?
I love it. I mean, and sometimes here's my past. That coaches will make a big deal of it if things go wrong. But
Sure.
things go right, then they're like, oh, it was the right call. It was the right call. It's awesome, and we're fresh, But players will tell you all the time, yeah, we can skip practice. It's the grind. It's the mental grind. It's the getting dressed, undress, driving to the rink, coming back. I mean, it just gets. It's like tomorrow, what's that going to do to go to the? It's not going to do anything, and that's why they're doing the right thing.
They've played 3 and 4 with travel thrown in there. They've won all 3.
Yeah.
What do you need practice tomorrow for?
Like Cale tomorrow, really? Get up late, have a nice meal, go walk around Wash Park with your fiance.
Go get your wrist massage.
He's gonna be fine. Go do something different. You know what I mean? Like go play pickleball with your kids or something. Whatever. It's gonna make you better Monday night. It will, and then obviously morning skates. We could have another show about morning skates. But then that's where morning skate is good. Where you don't skate tomorrow, morning skate, let's get back to work. Let's touch up on a couple things. Let's shake our legs and be ready to go for Monday night. Then I don't mind that. Other than that, sometimes morning skates are useless too. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, are you serious?
Is there a morning skate today?
There was not.
But there you go.
They also played last night and won.
So I'm saying you're just managing the schedule
That's right.
in ways that
and
make
I think
sense.
they're doing a great job with it. And then I'll get back to the X-ray machine, and I know guys like on Twitter make a big deal of it all the time. Like, an X-ray machine was put down the hall there for a reason, for the athletes, for the Nuggets, for the Avalanche, so you don't have to get in your car and drive to freaking hospital to go get an X-ray. So when it's there, it's convenient. Most of the time, you don't even know about it. You don't even know. Like, there's always someone every night going for an X-ray. You know what I mean? But whenever it's Cale or something, we all panic and
name,
like, oh, MacKinnon. He's managing his practice time, MacKinnon, and whatever it is. Next thing you know, it's, but he was at the X-ray machine. Like, oh my Lord. Like, everyone goes at the X-ray machine. Just
It happens all the time.
That's right.
Yep.
And that's my point.
The first time Cale went, he even said it in his interview. He was like, yeah, just got an X-ray to make sure to check it out. It was all good.
And it looks
because it's right there. It doesn't take very long. The results don't take very long. You get it done. And if there's a break, you find out right away. And you
That's
go,
it.
okay, this is a problem.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not a break. You're like, all right, it's something else. We'll figure it out later.
That means you'll be fine tomorrow morning. Get a Diet Coke and an Advil, you'll be good.
The last thing you want is for it to be a break and have that guy come back out there and make it worse.
That's it.
Like,
That's my point.
yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, you turn a hairline fracture into a full-blown fracture.
Right, and now you're
'Cause
out
you were
for
like,
months and months and months.
And then you're like, all right, well,
I'll just
4
keep
weeks is
going.
now 12 weeks.
Yeah. Don't be dumb. That's the answer to that one.
Man, if I just lived by that rule, my life would look so different.
I feel like yes, but also a lot of the time you didn't realize you were being dumb until after, and then you're like, oh, I was dumb.
Of course, hindsight, right?
Don't be dumb and miss out on illegal Pete's delicious burritos. You can get yours at one of 11 locations here in Colorado. It is very much the snack sound for illegal Pete's. Fantastic burritos. You can get queso that's to die for. They have happy hour from 3 to 8 p.m., which I need because it gets dark at 4, and that makes me sad. Go check them out if you haven't yet. The burritos are amazing. Their margaritas are dope. You can get in on it with illegal Pete's. And there's even one a couple blocks from the DNVR bar, so you can pregame there and come down hang out with us. For a snowy Saturday night, we had a pretty good little crowd here at the bar. It was a good time.
Did not know it was snowy, as I have been holed up with a fever and all kinds of
You've been struggling.
stuff in the last few days. Had no idea. Backed out of the driveway and was like, oh, hello.
All this white stuff.
It's quite cold.
And then, if you're going to the game, make sure you get your tickets through Game Time. You can go over there and get the best deals on tickets. You sign up with code DNVR, you get $20 off your first purchase, where you can get last-second deals. You can use the section selector, which will save you 20% on average. You can use all sorts of other different little combinations. Game Time has all sorts of deals, including if you find tickets cheaper somewhere else, they will reimburse you 110% of the price, because they will get you the best deal on tickets guaranteed when it comes to Game Time. And it doesn't have to be just sporting events. Anything you want to go to, whether it's a concert or the theater or whatever event you might be on, Game Time has you covered. All right. Also, I know Game Time's a great way to get tickets if you're going by yourself, but December 9th, the first DNVR takeover for the Avs. You can come join us at the Avs game. Also, just throwing it out there, takeovers are undefeated so far. Avs have not lost a game when DNVR comes and takes over yet. So maybe get in on the undefeated action. Jump in on that with us. Come have a good time. Again, December 9th. You can go over to thednvr.com and go to our events page if you want to join us for the fun. You'll get beers on the party bus over. You pregame here at the bar, come back to the bar, have a good time. It's a great time. Ask anyone who's gone. They all love it. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I want to talk about this third period of the game briefly. There's not a ton that went on there, but you're in the second game of back-to-back. You don't play a lot of offense in that period, but you don't give up a goal either. Are you happy with the way that third period was played, Eric? Is that a good enough, hey, you did what you had to do to get the win, or did you want to see a little bit more there?
No, I thought it was well done, especially on a back-to-back. Like we said, it's a schedule. You're tired. That's exactly what they're saying on the bench. And I'm talking about all the players. Forget about the coaches. We know what the coaches are saying.
Yep.
It's human nature. Hey, let's be safe. Let's be good. Doesn't mean that you want you to turtle. But as players, they're all looking at each other and say, guys, we're up by 2. We're good to go. We're all good. There's no need to try anything. There's no need to be stupid. There's no need to give them the silver platter like we've been talking about since before the start of the game. So you don't really create much, but there's a way to play, right? You know, for me, one of the best of all time, I go back to an old name again, Eric Messier, best clock killer there was. You know, like it wasn't going to get scored on. And, you know, it's like killing the clock in football, right? You know what I mean? There was a purpose to the game. Him, Yeller, and Sean Podine would just kill the clock, right?
Time,
it was wasting time. Not much is happening in a good way. You know what I'm saying? And then you get out of the game, and in the stats it says that after 2 periods, you held on to your lead and you won the game.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, that's what matters. And I think they did it in a fashion that was exactly typical to the schedule. And this is, like you said, you can only play the game that's in front of you.
Yep.
And this is a game where their legs were tight, their legs were tired, absolutely. And they knew they were playing a tired team as well. So you knew that the push wasn't going to be the greatest push ever.
Yep.
So I think it was done perfectly by them tonight, and it proved to be right.
Game ended 3-1. That's good enough for me.
There you go.
We do have a couple of super chats to get to here.
I guess I'm less of an optimist about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it ends 3-1. That's fine. That's the point. So you do a good enough job. And I'm not going to nitpick too much for a segababa, but they're also on a segababa.
It's not like Calgary should have juice, yeah.
And you really, 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 really stopped playing offense for...
They did.
I don't know. It was just a couple of minutes. But...
Yeah. There was no counterpunch when Calgary was pushing.
Yeah,
for sure.
and I guess that's my... And it was no counterpunch by Colorado's best players.
Sure.
It's McCarr and Taves and MacKinnon and Rantanen that are getting their head kicked in. That part of it is, to me, I'm like, hey, you're paying those guys as much money as you are.
Put games in the dirt. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, they should be fearing that line, and instead that line is just kind of more of the same. And one thing I did like about the kind of the third line shenanigans from Colton and Wood tonight, especially Miles Wood, was that it's kind of a sleepy game, and Miles Wood kept waking everybody up. You can argue that that's a bad thing when you have the lead because you don't want to give the other team a jolt.
Yep.
But also, you know, you're in a competitive environment, and that guy's competing. That's what you're paying him for. And so they don't score. Ross Colton just... How many more good chances do you need, fella?
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of them in the third period
Probably
for him to
finished
really,
one.
really put the game away.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. A little disappointed in how the top guys finished the game.
Sure.
But no major complaints, man. I mean, again, as Eric said, you started the third period with a 3-1 lead. You walked out with the 3-1 lead. You did fine. And some credit there goes to Ivan Prosvetov as well.
Definitely. Anything interesting on that Miles Wood nonsense shenaniganry with Mackenzie Weegar and like the rest of the whole Flames team, to be honest?
The reason I bring up, you maybe woke him up a little bit, is I remember a game in Calgary that the Avs were up 3-0 a few years ago, and Ian Cole killed a guy.
Yep.
I don't remember who it was, but he just killed a guy.
Is that the one he got thrown out of?
He did.
Yeah,
And,
and it was like a clean hit. But
yeah, and he just blows somebody up, and it woke Calgary up, and Colorado lost that game.
Yep.
And that was, I mean, they're halfway through the second period, maybe a little further.
Cruising
They have a 3-0
towards a
lead.
victory, yeah.
The Flames are totally asleep. And that hit brought them back to life, and they ran the Avs out of the building the rest of the night.
Yep.
That obviously didn't happen tonight, so it's not a
Big deal.
it's not a perfect 1-to-1 here, but just reminded me of that, seeing some of the Miles Wood stuff. But again, that's what you pay Miles Wood for.
Oh, totally. To be that guy.
Exactly. To be a lightning rod and to be a guy that is going to talk shit through the missing tooth, to whistle at guys, you know? Eric Johnson's gone, so you needed a hockey face to replace a hockey face.
Mission accomplished.
They did that, and that competitiveness, I was into it. I like that out of that guy.
I love it.
Yeah, I want that guy to be up in their grill. I want them to be upset about it. I want Mackenzie Weegar to be like, Miles Wood might be crazy. Spent the entire time sitting in the box thinking, this guy's going to jump me the second we get out of here.
Yep.
Nothing happens.
I mean, they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
nothing happens, and I would have loved to have seen, some continued aggressive hugging, but
for sure.
it's fine.
And again, Uyghur's one of their best players back there, so it's a great trade-off, too, as they're down by 2. If I'm Wood, well, of course I want him to get off. I want him to get 5 with them, and then there's 5 minutes left, and there you go.
Yep.
Now the Flames have to use their lower end Ds to try to tie up the game. So it's a great trade-off.
Absolutely.
Didn't happen, but it was a great job.
Would have liked another one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Would have been good. All right, let's get to the Super Chats. We got $5 from Vaguely Sober showing us the Sweaty Boys for Sam Malinsky's 3-apple night with the Eagles, who did also win. Yeah. Sam Malinsky, next man up on the defense potentially, depending on how things go. Thank you very much, Vaguely. And then it looks like he gave us $2 more to say, not going to lie, somebody was chopping onions for that pregame. Yeah, super cool by the Avs to do that for Snow and Snow's family.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, cool stuff, definitely. And then $5 from the Walrus himself, who says, paying for Makar's wrist massage. Rudo said it. We're well into DNVR After Dark territory at this point. It's fine. It's almost midnight. You come away with it. The Avs get a win. They're on another winning streak, like you said. It's 3 in a row.
You're 37 seconds away from being on a 7-gamer winning streak. And top of the Western Conference. It's really hard. Like, we're gonna talk about Nathan MacKinnon. It's been imperfect.
And imperfect for him is still like over a point per game.
Yeah, somebody put it in chat earlier. It's 17 points in 10 games.
Yeah.
He has 19 in the last 12. Give me a break.
Pretty good.
It's imperfect. Okay, I agree. It's imperfect, but that production, it walks the walk.
Yep.
Does.
The Avs are good. They've won 6 of their last 7. They go 7-3 in this stretch of 10. They're 14-6 on the season.
7-3 and 7-3
Yep.
for their first 2 10-game stretches. This is a good way to be.
700 hockey's all right, I guess.
Yeah, and as Vegas is proving right now, where you get that hot to start the season and everything goes your way. Vegas, Vancouver.
You're gonna cool off eventually.
Yeah, those teams have proven that when you hit the wall, a little early adversity isn't always bad as long as you learn from it and grow from it.
Yep.
Now they're in that zone where they are facing that adversity. Now they need to respond to it a little bit.
Take the next step. Yep.
Colorado responded to theirs.
Yep.
There will be more. I have full faith that Vegas will respond to theirs.
Yep.
Where we've seen a team like Edmonton did not have that maturity and they're still fighting it a bit.
Yep.
What will Vancouver do in this stretch? We saw Anaheim. We said, one of the interesting things about the game that they played in Denver, they lost 8-2, was that's a young team. How are they going to respond to getting waxed in that way?
Yep.
And they've completely collapsed.
Yep.
All of this is a learning experience where Avalanche fans should feel heartened. The Avalanche went through an ugly stretch.
What does Eric like to say? They passed the test.
They did.
That's why you score 4.
That's what I like to say.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that came to mind.
But to your point, the Avs, yes, it's not been perfect, but they've gotten themselves through a down stretch and back up to the team that I think we all believe they are capable of being.
Yeah.
Even if it is, you'd like more from this guy. Oh, that guy needs to be better. You're winning hockey games. Don't be too crazy with it.
So since we still don't have an off-day pod coming anytime
Yeah,
soon,
I know it's games.
I think our next off-day pod is either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on we haven't set our schedule.
We're taking one of those days off, probably.
But
yeah.
I just want to throw this conversation here since chat's having it, and I'm kind of curious what you guys think.
Sure.
Tatar, nothing has really worked with Tatar, whereas Jonathan Drouin has shown
It started to come
not even
together.
signs of life. He's been good.
He's got 3 goals, 6 points now.
He's just
Like,
been good over the last we'll say last week for sure.
Yep.
If you wanted to say the last 2 weeks, I give it to you. But certainly over the
5
last
games,
week, he's
yeah.
just been good.
Yep.
So with Tomas Tatar, would you call somebody up? Would you replace? I mean, the Riley Tufte conversation I think is interesting because he has mastered the art of looking like he's working hard, but he's not doing much.
Yeah.
What has actually been accomplished has been awful. He gets the 1 goal that goes off of his leg. He goes to the right area of the ice. The Avs need that. The Avs needed the goal. There's no taking any of that away. The rest of his results are brutally bad. Like his on-ice results are brutally bad.
I've seen the numbers, and I will say I think his offensive generation is actually okay as far as quality. But when you look at the grand total, you're watching him just get absolutely caved. Like, I don't know. I don't know that there's a solution that can make up for that.
I don't. And again, I like Thomas Tatar. I think we all did when they signed this summer. We all forget about the last 20 games.
Absolutely.
But if it keeps going another 10 games, like I think you're gonna see something else.
So we said this at 10
That's
games.
just my God.
Where we said, all right, 10 more games, we need to see something.
Yeah.
Jonathan Drouin's given that to you.
Yeah.
You're feeling better about Drouin
For
right
sure.
now than you were even 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
How much longer of a leash do you really give Tomas Tatar another 10 games? And he's a veteran. He's got 700 games in the NHL. It's not like he's a young guy still trying to figure it out. There is a track record of success here. So do you just default and say, hey, we're going to give him 10 more? Because it has not worked to that level. It has been rough.
My question would be, who are you replacing with?
No, that's my point. I don't think it's internal. Is it some sort of a trade or something? You know what I mean? A change, and it might. And I know what you're saying. It might not be a name that. It might not be Tufte. It might not be. You know what I mean? Like, it might be an outside source. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how you make it happen, but
I mean, I think you can look at a couple of things specifically. One, do you want to try Ben Myers on the wing in whatever Tatar's role might be on any given night? Maybe. I could see that being a real conversation.
Meh.
Anyone else, I don't really see it. I think you'd really have to talk yourself into a Lawson or something like that. I don't think that's happening. But then the longer conversation is, you talk about his veteran presence. You could talk about maybe you just let it ride for a little bit. Mm-hmm. You let it ride for another month. All of a sudden, it's the end of December. All of a sudden, Kovalenko's 2 months away.
Well, and we don't know a timeline on Arturi Lehkonen.
That's also true.
that's the big one.
Evan reported, he just said he saw Lehkonen wandering around after the game just fine.
How much does that mean?
There's a difference between I can walk around the arena without any issue and playing in an NHL game.
Cogliano was out of his brace 3 days after he had surgery on his neck.
I mean, we're 2 years into Gabe Landeskog being fine wandering around in life and not being able to play in an NHL game. So,
Right.
like, you know, like there's levels to this. But if they know what Lehkonen's timeline is, and let's just say it's 10 more games.
I'm sure they have some idea.
For argument's sake, let's say it's 10 more games.
Seems like a pretty easy one-to-one.
You just roll with Tatar for 10 games. You drop Lehkonen back into it, and you go from there.
And keep in mind, the Avs are 14-6 with Tatar in the majority of those games.
Yeah,
Like,
this is not a serious problem.
Yeah.
This is you are trying to fine-tune your lineup 20 games into the
100%.
season.
Yep.
And as much as you can look at Ryan Johansen and say, where are the assists? I keep saying, if he had 4 and 4, would you feel significantly better about his season?
Probably.
Would you? Instead
Probably.
of the, what is it, 8 and
Bagels.
1 that he's at now?
7-1, I think. Maybe it's 8. I don't know.
Would you really feel that
No,
much
no,
better?
I'm sorry. I got you confused with Tatar there.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking like, oh, what if he, instead of a bagel, he would have 4 goals?
Oh, yeah,
Which,
Tatar,
of course, yeah.
his
no,
points-
Ryjo,
his
no,
points
that's
per
fine.
sport,
Like
yeah.
I've said about Ryjo, for me, I made a joke earlier of 5-on-5. I mean, it hasn't been there a lot, 5-on-5, but he's done his job on the PP. He's done his job taking face-offs. And, and again, he's going to score big goals. Like tonight, that's a big goal. That's a big goal. So, no, I feel fine about Joe. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying.
I would agree with you about Tatar.
Yeah,
if he was at 4-4, I'd feel much better.
You'd be like, oh, yeah, much better. Yeah,
you'd kind of feel the way you do about Jonathan Drouin. Where you're like, it's getting better.
I think what makes replacing Tatar hard is the question is, where does he fit? Right now, it feels like Jonathan Drouin has started to fit into the top 6 with the absence of Arturi Lehkonen. Tatar, they try him on the second line. It doesn't feel great. They try him on the fourth line. It doesn't feel great. So if you're going out and replacing him with someone, you need to have a role in mind for that guy. You need to have an idea of how your lineup is going to look.
Yeah.
Because right now, it's just all over the place.
I think that's where the conversation of an Oscar Olausen, like, hey, this is a skill guy that gets dropped into a skill role. Do you really want that guy on the same line as a Jonathan Drouin and Ryan Johansen?
No.
It feels to me like you are asking for a passenger night every other night.
Yeah, that whole line is a passenger.
Yeah, and then, is there another Ben Myers? Is Ben Myers going to do much in that role? You just may not.
Sure.
You're not calling a spade where Riley Tufte in that role is not going to go great.
Yep. Yeah, it's certainly not ready to pull the trigger on anything yet, is what I would say.
Waiting on Kovalenko sucks.
It does. Can it just be March already? On that note, we are brought to you by the folks over at Red Hawk Roofing. Obviously, there's snow on the ground now, so maybe you found a leak in your roof. Maybe something's going on. They're available 24/7 and have fast response time, so they can get out and fix whatever might be going on with your roof. And even if you don't have a leak, you should call these guys up because they will give you a free inspection. They'll get up there, they'll take pictures, they'll show you what's going on. Hopefully, everything's all good. But if there is a problem, they'll let you know and they can get it fixed for you. So go check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com today. Let them know DNVR sent you over there. They're another local company that loves us here at DNVR. So give these guys some love over at Red Hawk Roofing. And then, last but certainly not least, brought to you by our folks over at Shady Rays. You can get your sunglasses today. Make sure you're looking fly. Get your Shady Rays on. And when you get 2 pairs or more, you get 50% off your entire order with code DNVR. Over 250,000 people have given them 5 stars. So that's dope. They're very, very good. And the best part is, first 30 days, if you don't like them, you lose them, or you break them, they'll replace them completely for free. Go check them out at shadyrays.com. That's all I got, unless you guys want to add any final thoughts. Nope. I
added my final thoughts. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, we had the conversation. We'll be back on Monday, I suppose, for the next Avs game. Keep it peeled tonight as well on the DNVR.com for Megan's piece, AJ's piece. I'll have a video up on YouTube at some point as well. So we appreciate y'all, and we will see you in the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.